Hey, my name is Brian Golden, and I am really happy to say that I am this year's grand prize winner in the Shore Scripts TV pilot contest for my 1 hour drama pilot, Pipeline. Pipeline is set in California's Central Valley in the middle of a drought, and it is the story of three first generation Mexican American siblings who find themselves on opposite sides of the law after a big agriculture company proposes a controversial public works project, a pipeline, that could change life in their rural part of the valley forever. I moved to California 3 years ago after a decade in Chicago writing and directing plays, and when I got here, I thought it would be a good idea to learn about my new home and some of the history of it and the people who live here. And I started reading everything I could find about interesting California stuff. And I started reading a lot about the Central Valley, which is this wide, vast middle of California that you don't hear nearly as much about as you do Los Angeles or Silicon Valley or the Bay Area or any of that. And the Valley is just this really interesting place with an incredible history that includes labor conflicts and immigration and big business and wealth and poverty and white people and brown people and black people, and it's just fascinating. And something like 60% of what's in the average American salad is grown in the valley. Don't quote me on the number, but the point is they grow a lot of stuff. A lot of the food that we all eat comes from the valley, and we don't really think about this place. So it's this really influential place in American life that I hadn't known a ton about before I moved to California. And I just think it's fascinating, and really one of the things that is at the core of a lot of the Central Valley's history is water. So I got this idea for a story about water, about this thing that is a part of all of our bodies, and it's like the most fundamental element of human life, all life, really. And it's the thing that more of us have in common with one another than genes or anything. We're all made of water, and the planet is made of water, but it's also often a source of conflict. It's also often a border, and as climate change continues to take hold and our environment worsens, water is increasingly, I'm afraid, going to be a thing that is bought and sold for profit, and even many times stolen, sometimes right from under the ground where someone lives. So Pipeline is really a story about water. As just incredibly non-commercial as that sounds, it's a show about water, but on a deeper level, it is a story about people and people dealing with the changing environment. And really, in this case, one family, the Valdez family, who is trying to hold a life together, and each of the three adult siblings fighting and trying to hold on to each of their version of what the American dream is, and how that dream brings them into conflict with many forces, and most importantly, one another. It took me about 18 months to write Pipeline, many drafts, and I've been fortunate to really get some good response on the script. I was one of three winners of the We Screenplay Contest and an official selection of the WAN Workshop and Pitchfly Cover Week and Coverfly Pitch Week, and some other things that have just been nice. It's nice to feel like the material is connecting with people, and as I'm sure you know if you're watching this career that we have chosen has vastly more rejection than success. So it is just needless to say, when Shore Scripts tells you that you're their big winner, it's so gratifying and exciting and just a really wonderful feeling. I'm super grateful to Dave and Justine and everyone at Shore. It's been just so nice feeling like the script has connected, and I know that the relationships that are going to come from winning the grand prize is something that is going to open some doors, and I'm really excited to see where they lead. I am an unrepresented writer, and even though I have been a showrunner's assistant and a development assistant, I haven't been staffed in a room and I haven't sold anything. So a dream outcome for me from this win would be opening some doors and having some meaningful conversations with reps, and potentially finding someone out there who hears a pitch that is like The Wire, but not for drugs, for water in California, and is interested in kind of the scope and ambition of that project and what I'm trying to do. So I for sure don't have any advice for anyone entering this contest, even though I think you should enter it. I don't have any advice for anyone entering any contest, really. I'm just some dude trying to get a job, telling stories for a living. There are tips, I guess, but you already know them. Write when you can, read when you can, try to be a decent person, be nice to the people you meet. I don't even know if it helps. It's just a better way to live. Um, I guess my only advice really would be that I believe deeply that write what you know is terrible advice. I think we all do our best work when we're writing things that we care about, even if we don't know about them at first. Of course, then you have to get to know about it. And for Pipeline, for example, I did so much research and talked to people who were in the field and interviewed folks who work for the state water department. And I do have a bit of a journalism background, so once I realized how much I cared, I really did my homework. But what comes first is the caring, and I don't think that we do our best work when we're trying to mimic things that we've seen other people do or sell to a network. But just writing about something that some voice inside of us says this matters. And I think that a big reason that Pipeline has gotten some nice response from shore and elsewhere is that it's a story about family, and it's a story about climate change, and it's a story about people who are fighting to hang on in a system that wasn't built for their success. And those are all things that I care about a lot. So find something you care about that isn't television, and be a person that knows about things and cares about things that aren't on TV, and then find your way into a story that can excavate and explore those things that have meaning to you. And that is my only advice. That is what I think leads us all to our best work, is passion. So I wish you all the best. It isn't worth much. I'm just some dude, but that's what I think. And I wish you all the best of luck. I think you should enter Shore Scripts, and I hope that you all keep writing.